Good morning, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here, along with Double Check Dale. How are you doing this morning, sir?
You know, feeling honored to sit in the guest chair over here. Doing well, doing well.
Yeah. Well, I think Sir Rick's out. He'll be back, I think, either tomorrow or the next day. He's got a lot going on. He's bringing in more guests, finding more data, and creating new information to bring to the show to make sure everybody has what they need to be successful in the industry.
That's what it's really all about is that information. How do we look at it? How do we use it?
Why do you have my mouse? Why I don't know. Why do you have my mouse? Give me my mouse back. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to do the onesie twosie with the finger, and my mouse is sitting over there with Double Check Dale. I'm not sure what's going on over there. Boyd, the producer, what do you got going on this morning? It is a Monday morning, the last week of June.
Not much is going on. I was gone all weekend, so it's nice to be home. But yeah, ready for 4th of July. I think I'm gonna go out to my ranch this weekend, so it'll be fun.
You're getting ready for 4th of July?
I am. I think I'm gonna leave.
Do you
Saturday.
celebrate it truly as the independence of this country? Do you feel? Do you do that, or is it just another day off, or what? Tell me, explain to me the importance of the 4th of July to you.
I mean, I usually use 4th of July just to be around friends and family, kind of, where it's, a good holiday to just kind of hang out, some American, traditions, eat some hot dogs, some burgers, sit out in the sun, probably go out there, shoot skeet, drive the ATVs, do all that
There's
stuff.
nothing wrong with a little gunpowder and alcoholic beverages on a holiday.
Don't
you know
need no fireworks. I got guns.
Yeah,
well, there's gunpowder and fireworks. I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with a little gunpowder.
if the burn ban's not, if there may be a burn ban out there.
Oh, you all have a hard time out there
We'll do
firing.
firecrackers, just not.
Yeah, you won't be able to fire off them bottle rockets.
Yeah,
Roman
sadly.
candles. No Roman candle battles for you, but that's for next week. And we've got a lot coming up for next week when we talk a little bit about 4th of July. I do want to talk, as we get closer to the week, I do want to talk a little bit about how the traffic will be immense this holiday season with people hitting the roads. Because we've heard horror stories about airplanes, flights being canceled, people not sleeping at airports. Who wants to go through that?
I don't. I do not. So we drive, but then when we drive, that creates so much more because now we get in a hurry and we get distracted.
Oh my
we get
God.
the family in the back, and yeah, it'll be a nightmare. But the professional drivers will be prepared for it. They'll be relaxed. They'll be chilled.
Relaxed. Have you had the family in the car? Have you put all the kids in the car and got in the car with the kids? At what point were you relaxed?
When they were all asleep.
After the beatings. That's the only time I felt relaxed, after I beat them all into submission and told them to shut up and quit touching each other.
It was either when they were asleep or when they all had the videos loaded on their little, whatever Discman or whatever they were at the time. They all loaded their own things and watched and did what they want. But man, that's lots of traffic over 4th of July.
As a former truck driver, I always found it very difficult to get along with people in the car on a road trip. Because everybody wants to go pee-pee 30 minutes after you leave. I just couldn't get in. And then we got to stop to get something to drink, and then we got to stop to pee-pee again.
Now, I had the kids pretty well trained. Okay, we're stopping for gas. And when we stop for gas, it's a one-stop does all.
Yeah,
okay,
let her rip. Let her
that's right. Squeeze it out.
Yeah, and then until then, and then there's always, and God love them, and there's always one that gets sick.
Yeah.
At some point, what is up with that? When they're smaller, they just tend to get sick. I don't know what happens. Is it the
motion? I don't know.
And they're young. They're great 1 minute, the next minute it's all over the place.
Yeah, they're about as gray in the face. It's like, oh no.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this weekend. I got something for you. All right. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you ever gone to the movie with a big bucket of popcorn, and about 3/4 through the movie you look down and you've eaten the entire bucket of popcorn and you didn't even remember eating any of it?
Yes, I've gone to the movie. Yes, I bought the big bucket of popcorn. I've never not realized that I've ate the whole thing.
No, I mean, but look down and then gone, oh, I'm at the bottom, and I just don't remember eating all the way through it.
Yeah, I don't think I've got there yet.
No?
Nope.
How about you? Boy, you done something like that, you get in there and you just start eating away, and then the next thing you know, you're at the bottom and you don't remember actually putting every one of them in your mouth.
I mean, yeah, these days I don't eat much popcorn at the movies anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so
I've definitely done that, though.
What I'm trying to get at is this guy goes to the hospital with some stomach pains, right?
Okay.
He has some stomach pains. And I think you've got a video of this or something about this. This guy has 233 coins, batteries, and screws in his stomach, and he doesn't remember eating any of them. Okay, I find they say this is a mental condition. Obviously, it's a mental condition. Who eats all of that? A couple of the nails had punctured his stomach lining, and because it couldn't it couldn't compress on him. But I'm telling you, he doesn't remember eating them at all, and they're saying it's a mental. Dude, put a muzzle on it. How do you? And by the way,
put a magnet something.
Put the change jar away. You know what I mean? It would be hard pressed. Okay, first of all, would it be hard pressed to find 233 coins around you?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying I can't even. I don't have with credit cards the way they are and stuff like that. Who has 233 coins lying around?
He must be the luckiest guy finding pennies on the street.
What?
I know. It's like, whoa,
Hungry dude.
There's
I'm
lunch.
just saying, is he making change? Is he running around trying to create a snack by going in and buying something? Hey, I'll buy a couple of batteries to eat later. Make sure you give me some change so that I can get a snack in.
That's my dessert. The change is the dessert. It's like, that just can't be good.
230. What? Okay. That's a lot of iron.
I keep gaining weight. This is heavy.
That is his. That dude. That is a great way to lose several pounds.
Yeah, that's right. Go get it off.
Get it off. Just get off the scale. I'm gonna. But they did surgery. They got it all out, and the guy doesn't remember eating any of it. Okay, any. Yeah. I mean, a battery. I mean, that's kind of hard to swallow, right? I mean, that's not exactly. I mean, that's not exactly a horse pill. We're talking. Can you imagine getting a D-cell battery out and thinking, hey, you know what? Let me kick that one back with a Sprite.
Yeah, that's right. With a coin chaser.
A battery? Okay, seriously.
Screws can't be good to eat either. I
mean, they kind of go down scratchy. Can you, boy? You tossed a few screws back, and I've had a screwdriver or two. But it wasn't quite the same one.
No, I don't physically understand how you could even get yourself to swallow one of those. I can't.
I don't know, but I get maybe a penny or a dime or something like that, a small coin the size of a pill or a large pill or something like that. But a battery, Boyd, a battery. Can you imagine? A D cell or C cell battery?
Yeah. Heck, even a AAA or AA.
I'm just saying. What is he taking? Is he taking his iPod apart? I mean, is he taking one of the toys in the kids' room apart to get to the batteries? I mean, honestly.
Well, this is I mean, it had to have hurt because I remember when I was little, my dad used to make me lick the batteries when we checked the smoke detectors, zap the crap out of you. So I mean, for one thing,
that explains
go dad.
Explains a little bit right there.
That does explain a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
What's going on?
Trust me.
Hey, it's just a car battery. You take both of these points and lick both of these. This jumper cable. No, I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I get. All right, here's my I don't remember eating it story. All right, so I get in the truck. I got to run a load to Denver and out of Dallas. I jump up. I don't eat anything. I'm hungry. I don't eat anything. My wife had gone to Sam's and bought me a 1 pound bag of dried fruit. Do you know what that is? You get the dried fruit, and so I had set it next to my seat in the truck, and I started munching on it because I was starving to death. I wasn't planning on stopping until Amarillo, so about a 6-hour drive, and I got about 5 hours into the drive, and I started hurting real bad. And then I realized I had eaten that entire bag of dried fruit. Can you imagine how much fiber that was? Apricots, prunes, you name it, I had eaten it. And I had got, let me tell you, there was a new awakening when I hit Amarillo, folks. I thought I was going to die. And let's just say I didn't go much further that day. And I suffered immensely. I'm going to recommend to everybody out there, measure the amount of fiber that you get in your lifetime. Make sure you everything in moderation, right?
That's exactly it. So was it that good, or was it just something to do? Because I think I
had a lot going on that, mentally. I think there was a lot going on, and I was hungry, and I think the weather was bad, and I was just eating on it, you know what I mean? Just throw it, just having it. I wasn't talking much on the CB, but that was back in the day. I think my wife had bought it for me to carry, for the week, Yeah, and I ate all of it in a 4-hour, 5-hour period, and let me tell you, everything in moderation, folks. It especially coins and batteries. Everything in moderation. I got some news for you out there today. I want to make sure that you know about this. The Kremlin's credit rating has fallen.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Kremlin's credit rating. They defaulted on 2 loans out there as of Friday. They had to make them by 5 p.m. Friday in Europe, 2 European loans. That's the first time since the Bolshevik Revolution of 1918 that the Kremlin has defaulted on a note, and a lot of it has to do with the sanctions. Here is, you got your Kremlin back there in the background. Let me just say that this is the credit rating. It doesn't seem like a big deal, they still get money from oil, what they got coming in, but I'm telling you that it's kind of a big deal because when you default on one note for some reason with the European national community, it seems to have this domino effect that you have to pay back all these other notes, and you can't borrow until you secure payment. And I'm just telling you, not good news on your credit card there, Putin.
No.
Yeah, I think
your credit rating's not stellar anymore.
He's on. Okay, I'll tell you what. We got a guest. What we'll do is we'll take a 2-minute break when we come back, or a 60-second break when we come back. We're going to talk to Doug with Blue Wire, and we'll be right back in about a minute and a half. This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. Hey, it's Drive Safe Dave here, along with Doug Marcello. How you doing, Doug?
Doing great. Now that I'm logged in, I'm doing super. Although I got to tell you, I was a little nervous when I started hearing about the Bolshevik Revolution when I logged in, and Russian economics. I'm going like, did I get the right show? But no, doing great. Thank you.
Hey, we just try to act like we're really smart over here. So we're talking about some historical stuff, and I just wanted to let you know, don't take any charges or don't offer a credit line to Putin these days. His credit line's getting suffered a little bit in the economic community, but we'll get past that. Doug, it's good to see you.
I saw a large Bourse chart show up on my Visa last month, so I'm just thinking, okay. Hey, thank you very much for having me on. I apologize for the delay in the login, but really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, look, I'm excited to talk to you. I got a lot of things to talk to you about today. First of all, introduce yourself and who you're with, because I think it's important, Doug, that we kind of get and who you are and kind of like that.
Doug Marcello, I'm a trucking defense attorney, have defended trucking companies for more than 20 years, an attorney for 40 years. I have my CDL, and I'm also the chief legal officer of Blue Wire. Blue Wire is a computer service, an analysis that proactively prepares you to defend against potential nuclear verdicts. We analyze data points in order to find vulnerabilities so you can address them ahead of time.
Wow. Very needed, Doug, and exciting information as it comes to. First of all, Doug, tell us why you decided to practice law specifically within the trucking industry.
A number of years ago, I had a case, and I've been doing all kind of law. And this case involved a triaxle. The driver had a fatal accident with a woman who had pulled out in front of him. And it developed from there in terms of what the challenges of operating the vehicles are and how we can proceed and the need to defend it. I believe in the industry. I have served the industry and have greatly appreciated all the industry's done for me. I went to the extent, I think I may have mentioned earlier, getting a CDL so I could better understand the industry. So I see us as the lifeblood of America that needs protected from those who see us as a profit center, who live on the mantra of hit a truck, get a check, and look at our units as being 18-wheel ATM machines. So my mission and Blue Wire's mission is to protect them.
So here, let me just jump out here. I got about 9 different areas to go here, but let me ask you a real big question with me. Tort reform needed. How are we going to get it done in these states? I know Texas was able to pass a law recently to help with tort reform in specifically within trucking cases. How are we going to get tort reform done in these states?
Couple things. We are against an immense enemy, the trial lawyers, the folks that you see the billboards out there, and they are investing their money in making sure that they stay and keep the laws favorable to them. I think what we need to do, quite frankly, is I think we need a grassroots effort to rise up on this. Look at the people who are in trucking. Look at how many relatives they have. Look at how many logistic effect. And the sheer numbers of the individuals out there has got to give a large cry to the politicians. You know, in primaries where 2 to 3% can be a tipping point, organized at a grassroots level in the trucking industry would be a tsunami in those effects.
Yeah, you know, and I find that interesting, and I spoke to the truckload carriers in Washington, and this is really going to be a state's issue, this tort reform, outside of a federal issue, which means it has to spread individually within these states to create any success. I hope that Texas has helped create a precedence that can be spread to these other states with their new law in how the cases can be presented.
I believe, and hopefully it has. In talking to folks who are involved in this, be it ATA folks as well as the American Tort Reform Association, the idea and what they're doing is trying to get this one small gain at a time. Let's get an entree here. For example, seatbelt laws. You know, many states, you can't bring into evidence, if you're the defendant, that the other person was increased their injuries for not wearing a seatbelt. You can't even bring in the fact that they weren't wearing a seatbelt.
Wow.
This is now starting to go through. And these are the type of things we have to start to chip away at. I think you're right. It's got to be state by state in order for us to get this done. And one of the other big things on this is the panels within each state who create the rules of court. And they're unelected, they're appointed. And where the plaintiff attorneys get their folks appointed to these, it can be a huge gains chambers in these states under the radar from what we see.
Yeah, not just down at the law itself, but all of the rules of law that go into effect to make it before to even present the evidence. Great stuff. Let me ask you a quick question. So you brought up something in your opening statement, and that was data points. And you know, the trucking industry has changed dramatically, I believe, since the ELD. We have gathered an immense amount of data, and you're talking data points. So if you would elaborate on that a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, it used to be people think of the trucking as being a mechanical device, but now it's really a data device. And it comes, so much data comes off of it that the people in the trucking company, particularly safety, are drinking from a fire hose in this regard. So what we've got to do is to look, what are the key indicators of that data? that can be used for safety. And what we do in Blue Wire is look at the key indicators of that data that the plaintiff attorneys try to prey upon in order to detonate a large verdict against a trucking company. You know, in today's ELD world, the keys and hours of service are less the 11 and 14 hours. The ELD will tell you that. But we look at the other data points that may be things that the plaintiff attorneys prey upon, such as personal conveyance time, unassigned time. And those are the things that we have to do. The key is, what is the data you have to a trucking company, and what are the key indicators you have? That's the key in this.
Let me ask you a quick question here, and I know let's talk about forward-facing cameras. I know they play a big part in your ability to defend. What is your take on forward-facing cameras or any cameras around the truck whatsoever?
You know, I used to, when they first came out 15 years or so ago, I used to think, oh my gosh, that's just one more piece of evidence I'm going to need a proctologist to get back for me. You know?
Absolutely.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. We get blamed for everything anyhow. So, you know, in terms of those cameras, it gives us a defense. The ancient Greek Archimedes philosopher said, "Give me a place to stand, and I can move the world." Well, those cameras are where we can stand to defend our companies. And I got to tell you, I've had cases not just in accidents, but drivers who were blamed for leaving the scene of an accident. And fortunately, he had a running camera. Another trucker said, you know, I came on this guy left the scene. We have the running camera showing us going through there 5 minutes after it happened. So these cameras are invaluable, particularly the forward-facing cameras.
Absolutely. And I've come to love the forward-facing camera because worst case scenario, they tell the truth, right, Doug? I mean, at worst, they tell the truth. Yeah, at worst, they tell the truth. And at best, they can exonerate you completely 100% of any wrongdoing whatsoever and make it very difficult for them to he said, she said rule, right? I mean, it makes it, right. Because a lot of the times, I've even seen a car go backwards on the freeway and hit a truck, and at first they were blamed for a rear end collision until the officer saw them forward-facing camera.
Exactly.
I mean, it's crazy.
There's this fear out there, well, gee, what if it shows something bad? Well, let's know that now.
Absolutely.
So that we can get this case resolved, because the flip side is we're going to get blamed for that anyhow. So we might as well do it. I had one quick story. They installed one in a truck. It left the garage 2 o'clock in the morning, went a quarter of a mile. First green light it came to, a four-wheeler ran the light, hit it. It was bobtailing a day cab. You could see everything on the camera. 2 days later, the insurance company says, hey, I understand your truck ran a red light. We're calling for subrogation on this. Here's the film. A quarter of a mile it went, and all of a sudden it exonerated itself just because it had that camera.
Wow. And that's important not only for you and your ability to do that. All right, so let's talk about how Blue Wire helps. First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about the reptile theory that you encounter in the courtroom that makes it difficult to defend truck drivers.
Plaintiff attorneys had been running into trouble. You know, it had been the juries would be told, look at what's reasonable under the circumstances, and a lot of jurors would go, gee, you know, that driver, I have run into the same thing myself. So what they said, we got to flip the script here. We got to make it not so much about the accident, but about the company. We got to put the company on trial. And what we want to do, what we need to do, is to show that what that company is doing is a threat to the safety of individuals. That's how it gets its name. That the reptiles have progressed over history and survived by protecting the community, deciding what's safe for them. So what they'll do is they'll try to take it so that it is not just about the accident. The accident happens, but here's what you need to do, and the ultimate payoff for them is the payoff. The only way you'll get the company to correct this systemic failure is by hitting them with a large verdict. That's the reptile theory in short.
How do you defend against it?
Well, for too long, we have, and everybody that's going to a conference for the last 13 years since it came out has heard about reptile depositions and motions. Those are tactics. The reptile theory is a strategic attack. What we do at Blue Wire is provide a strategic defense, and it's taken right from the pages of the book that is the reptile theory. Number one, the reptile theory itself tells us, and they tell the plaintiff attorneys, this isn't going to work if your case isn't legitimate. This isn't going to work if it's just an accident. It's just a one-off. And it's not going to work if there's nothing there to change. What we do is we do an identification, 250 data points, find your vulnerabilities ahead of time so that you can then begin to address those vulnerabilities. Even if you haven't totally corrected them, you can tell the jury and the plaintiff attorney, hey, wait a minute. We don't need a verdict to tell us what our problems are or our failures. We not only know them, we have corrected them or we're in the process of correcting them. That's where we're at on this.
I tell you, how important is it for trucking companies, and I know it, and we can all say it's very important, but how important is it that they not only involve themselves in safety, but they go above and beyond the minimum requirements?
Incredibly vital and helpful to their defense. And that's one of the things that we did with Blue Wire. We've heard from the ironically named FAST Act in 2015 that the Congress told the FMCSA to start a program called Beyond Compliance. Well, we're still waiting for it.
We are.
So, and what we did when we looked at it, and we said, well, wait a minute, this was going to be a privately run program anyhow. So
right.
We have developed that program at Blue Wire so that not only do we analyze you for vulnerabilities, but we give you credit for what you do beyond compliance. Not just what you do, but also show how much you've spent on it. The idea being, if you are in a lawsuit, you can then show your investment in and commitment to safety to the jury at that.
So let me ask you a question, and I'm just going to go out there, Doug. Blue Wire helps create not only the legal defense, but they also help with the way a company is viewed correctly, right, Doug? You actually go out there online and start, I believe I read something about white hat. Why don't you go into that a little bit?
Right. Yeah, we consider ourselves, in effect, what they call in the tech industry white hat hackers. We look for vulnerabilities just like a White House hacker in the tech industry tries to find vulnerabilities in your computer system. Well, what we do is we take that vulnerability score, we take that beyond compliance, and we bring them together for a narrative of your company, the true narrative of the company, not the one the plaintiff's attorneys want to try to spin before a jury in order to get millions of dollars from you. Putting that together, that's how we come up so that you can show what your company really is. The data, the beyond compliance, but also what you do for the community. Our companies are so charitable, our members, drivers are so involved in the community. Let's show the true picture, not the one that is tried to be painted by the plaintiff attorneys.
Yeah, there really is two different images that they create, and I'm glad that we are having a champion in the courtroom that goes out and because we do work hard for the community. We involve ourselves in the day-to-day life. It's important what goes on. I'll tell you, believe it or not, and I know you believe this, Doug, that the trucking industry is the lifeblood of this country, and they're genuinely involved in every aspect of their communities, of the country, and they try to get politically and economically, they try to reinforce, great values in the industry, and it's horrible that they're portrayed as these evil entities out there just for a buck.
And shame on us to the extent we don't get our story out there.
Right.
We have a great story to tell. And whether it be by social media, by programs such as yours or other medium, that we don't get out there the true story of all that they do. We are now back in having the truck driving championships. And unfortunately, I missed ours in Pennsylvania for the first time in years. But if you want to see, you're not going to see a finer group of people than those who are there, not just the drivers, but their families.
Absolutely.
It's just something to behold with the Nationals coming up in Minnesota, I believe, Minneapolis this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as we talk about that, there are organizations out there, your state organizations, your trucking associations that are out there in each individual state, and you also have, the different ones you should be involved. Every every trucking company should get involved and should meet and collaborate and become a greater strength than in and of itself. I know we're all very busy and believe me, and I get it, we're all busy, but we're not too busy to help others succeed and also ourselves succeed as a collective force. So let's talk a little bit about Blue Wire. I don't want to lose sight of how important their role is. If anybody wants to, before I do that, let's talk about autonomy. I have a question for you, and this has been a question that I've been trying to figure out. Who's going to hold the responsibility for that when they have a big wreck, right? When that kills somebody, how is that going to be done? And I'm curious. I do think that autonomy is coming, and I think it's already out there. I think it's being used, but how is that? Then it no longer is the driver. It's the who's. I guess the question is, Doug, who owns the responsibility then?
You know, we're going back to our basic tort principles that we've had for millennia, and we're going to look at what was the cause of the accident, who was responsible for that cause, what was it within the data, was it within the mechanisms of the truck, or was it something the company failed to do in order to put it back out there on the road? So again, depending on those levels, what I think we're 1 through 4, 1 through 5 of different levels of autonomy, it will depend on where the fault will lie on that, who can take the blame. The sad reality in today's world is you're going to see the blame spread across the board, is my concern on that. And now we're just talking more pockets that they're going to go after on that. So a lot of that might be based upon the contractual relationship. Right. You know, hey, here's an autonomous truck. I buy it from you, but who's got the indemnification in there?
Right, exactly.
But it's going to be a great question, let alone, who's going to be responsible for roadsides, how are we going to do all the other issues that are coming on that. So a lot of thinking has to be done.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of barriers that we're going to cross. I think it's coming, and I know it's headed our way. I just not sure all of the answers that are coming. We'll figure them out as we come. All right, let's talk about Blue Wire. How important is that we get with you early and not at the last minute?
Yeah, my saying is, and I've said this before when I would talk to companies, drivers meetings, what you do now is evidence. What you do after the accident is backfill. So what you want to do now is like going for your annual physical. You want to start now to get checked up. Have this analysis, know what your vulnerabilities are so you can address them, so that you can take care of them right now. So that proactive strategic defense is what we are looking to provide and what we provide with Blue Wire on that.
Yeah, so Blue Wire actually will help prior to an accident to help go in and evaluate and come up with maybe solutions, ideas, and to help you going into the future in case. Because you're going to buy insurance, right? You're going to buy it. You have to, right? Why wouldn't you buy legal insurance? Is basically what you're talking about, right?
Exactly. And not only do we identify the vulnerabilities, but we have now, if you look at the list on our website, more than 60 allied providers. Wow. We say, look, you need cameras. Here are 3 or 4 companies. We don't recommend one company. We say, here are the folks who have made themselves available to us, have signed agreements with us that you can work with on this. And one of the other things you brought up, insurance, one of the things we're doing now is working with a lot of brokers and particularly captives and risk retention groups, because they have a collective risk.
Right.
So the transparency and the protection of one is the protection of all. And that's what we're looking for, the protect program, which is geared for insurance companies and brokers on that.
It is a collective. It is a big organization. All right. So if we want to reach out to you or reach out to Blue Wire, do they go to bluewire.com, or is there a specific email or phone number that they need to call?
Couple things. Number one, all the information, demo, bluewire.ai. AI for artificial intelligence, bluewire.ai. One of the other things is, and you go back to the ATRI report, and we've heard this for years, we don't share information with on the defense side like the plaintiffs do. They have every deposition of a trucking company, this and that. To overcome that, what we've done is to create Blue Wire Connect, an online community limited to just trucking people, insurance people, trucking defense attorneys. go to that bluewire.ai where it says get involved, go there. You can submit, because what we're looking to do is provide a forum that people can exchange ideas to protect and defend our industry.
And you brought something up, do you believe that ultimately in this industry that shippers, receivers and brokers are at some point, we're all going to ultimately share in this responsibility of what goes out there on the road and the accidents that happens?
To a great extent, they already are. I just sat through depositions a couple of weeks ago of a logistics company who had shipped a load that was involved in an accident. So, the companies that you ship with are going to put you at risk depending on their qualifications. So it's one of the things, again, with Blue Wire, by identifying these, we give a score 1 to 100. 100 is the better. The logistics companies, shipping companies can get an idea of what is the quality of those companies in order to protect them as well.
Well, Doug, I do appreciate it, man. I'm telling you that if you have an opportunity, if you want to know what's right and what to do and be prepared, or better prepared, actually, get a hold of Doug or anybody over there at Blue Wire. Go to bluewire.ai and find out the information. Get involved. Get in the community to better protect yourself. There's no better time than right now to figure out, because ultimately, I know it's sad, but there's going to be 11 fatalities today out there on the road involved with a big truck. And it may or may not be you, but as you do this over the years, ultimately you will be faced with this most difficult of times. And Blue Wire obviously helps to create a better or more successful environment for you to face those times. Doug, I do appreciate it. Before you go, we ask all our guests to state their name, who they are, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me, Doug?
Doug Marcello, I'm Chief Legal Officer of Blue Wire, and we're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right, Doug. Thanks a lot, man. We're going to have you on again soon, because we have a ton more questions for you, and we would like to get this out. We'll also send you a little bit of clip of this when we're done. How's that?
Perfect. Love to do it. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Hey, and when we come right back in just a minute, we'll bring up Double Check Dale and a little bit of weather and safety. Be back in just a second.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You got Double Check Dale here. We're going to look at weather. Not a lot going on today, folks. We'll start off with the winds, and there, like I said, not a lot going on currently. We're taking a look at them, and there's just not any areas of really strong winds or strong gusts current, and I don't think we're going to see anything as we go through the day. A little bit up in the northeast, New York, northern New York, winds will get a little bit stronger, but none of those dangerous gusts are being predicted right now. And as we go into the evening hours, a little bit out in Oregon and Nevada, Northern California. But again, those are just sustained winds in the 20s, nothing major as far as gusts go. Rain and thunder is a little bit different. Currently, we have some storms going on out in New Mexico and southern Colorado, and then up through the Tennessee River Valley. West Virginia, a little bit up into New York and New Hampshire, Connecticut area. No heavy storms or severe storms at the moment. We kick that into this afternoon, and there's really a lot of precipitation in the area this afternoon. Denver and Colorado, New Mexico, seeing some storms, parts of southern Texas, Houston area will see some rain and thunderstorms this afternoon. And then we have a really nice band of storms all the way from Mississippi through Alabama, Georgia, up through the Atlantic coast. And that's this afternoon around 4 o'clock. And as we go a little bit later, into 9 o'clock, well, let's kick it back just a little bit. We look at 7 o'clock in southern Texas, really got some storms, Louisiana, in that Gulf Coast area, still getting some more storms, the Atlantic Coast area up through Atlanta, picking up some rain this evening. So, pretty good band of showers, and they are going to last a while. 10 o'clock this evening, Houston will be getting some rain, and that band of showers out on the east is moving offshore. As we go into tomorrow morning, at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, just a pretty quiet morning as far as precipitation goes. Looking at temperatures today, hey, we're actually cooling off a little bit. And when I say cooling off, we're still going to be in the 90s, but it doesn't look like we're going to be any of the 100-degree temperatures for the Dallas-Fort Worth area or the southern tier of states today, except for way out west. Vegas and Phoenix is still going to be plenty hot, but a little bit of a reprieve from the hot temperatures, the 100-degree temperatures, the high 90s. Hey, with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and talk some safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave here, along with Double Check Dale, telling everybody that it's hot.
But not as hot as it has been.
Not as hot as it has been today. It's only going to be a cool, calm, and little bit 91 today.
Yeah, that's right. That's like,
I tell you what, I almost put a sweater on this morning.
That's right. Get the jackets out because we're in the low 90s.
Low 90s today, baby. I think we went 14 days over 100.
It was hot, even if it wasn't over 100. 99, close enough, especially with the humidity we had. So
feel like temperature.
Feel like temperature, without a doubt.
It was over 100, and I'm telling you, a little bit of refresher today at 91. I am excited. I played golf on Saturday. It was 104. It was cooking out there, baby. I drank, I had 4 waters and 2 iced teas and a couple of other beverages, and I don't think I peed once. That's how hot it was.
That's a lot of intake.
I'm just saying, that's how hot it was, folks. I'm just telling you, it was hot. And
you were thirsty.
I was thirsty, and it was. I'll tell you what, it was cooking out there, and had a good time. But I don't know that I could do that day. I couldn't do that 2 days in a row. That really put it on me.
Yep. And that's choosing to get out there. But I mean, just think of the drivers, the dropping hooks, the loading, the unloading. If you're a flatbedder and you have to tarp and stuff.
Tarping it. I've done that.
So.
Those days, but I was a younger dude then. I was much younger. I was skinnier, I was younger, and I wasn't as smart as I am today. I thought I was smarter.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Don't doubt that a bit, Dave. Hey, this week we're going to talk about, 4th of July is coming up, and so this week we're going to talk about Independence Day dangers.
Uh-oh.
4th of July has become one of the most deadliest days for accidents involving fatalities. It is estimated that 462 deaths may occur this year on U.S. roadways during the 4th of July weekend. Not only is the increased traffic, but distractions. We always talk a lot about distractions. Fireworks can be a distraction. You're driving and towns will start fireworks displays on July 1st through July 5th. And so, you're driving late at night or when it's dark out, you start seeing fireworks off in the distance. Easy to get distracted. Folks, don't get distracted if you're driving. Distractions kill, okay? If you take your eyes off the road and you lose focus and all of a sudden you're running over somebody or something, so you got to stay focused out there. So know that with all the fireworks displays, plan your drive times a little bit around them if you can. If you really like watching fireworks, go see them, but don't do it while you're driving.
I'll mention something else as that you're talking about it. I'm going to say that fireworks stands, these fireworks stands are located on the perimeter of your community, right? They're typically outside the city limits.
Yep. Right off the roadways, usually.
Right off the roadways.
Not a lot of good parking there.
Not a lot of good parking. So be careful as you're running around and understand that there will be people trying to get those. And while you talk about, you know what, I'm going to throw in some stuff here this week. While you talk about traffic, firework distractions on the roadway, I'm going to talk a little bit about firework safety. How's that?
There you go. Safety never rests, Dave.
Safety never rests. First and foremost, remember, don't let small children play with fireworks. Always adult supervision. We're going to start there. We're going to start with adult supervision when it comes to fireworks. Even the sparklers can be dangerous and can cause fire. So always have adult supervision whenever participating or joining in fireworks. How's that?
That's
Tip number one, adult supervision is necessary when it comes to fireworks.
Yep.
And I mean adult behavior.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
You can be an adult and still be weird and crazy and do bad things. I'm talking about really mature behavior when it comes to it.
There you go. Not just adult supervision, mature supervision.
Mature supervision. Make sure that it's good and wise supervision, but always make sure that any child has adult supervision when it comes to fireworks. They can be dangerous. Children can be burned, and even a small firecracker can hurt.
Yeah, I mean, those sparklers, I mean, they stay hot after the sparklers go out, and little kids don't know that or understand that right away. So you just got to keep an eye on them, make sure they're not burning themselves or burning others as they go touch somebody or something with it. So
yeah, just keep them.
Good safety tip.
I'm just throwing it in there. I'm just adding. I mean,
that.
I love 4th of July. You know, some people don't want to celebrate. They don't think it's a holiday. I think the celebration of this country and the creation of what we have and the foundation and principles by which we live every single day, and that members of my family have joined in to make sure not only fight for but believe in. I think the 4th of July is a great day for this country, and I totally want it to be a fantastic and celebratory time for the United States of America. All right, let's go straight to videos.
All right, first video we got is called "Has the Space Taken Away? Starts to Recreate."
You know, it was a great interview this morning, and I love what he was saying about cameras and everything. And so as we watch these videos, we just have to remember the importance of them. It's not that you're bad drivers. It just shows the unsafe situations we allow ourselves to get in at times, and how do we recognize them, and what steps do we take to correct. So we look at this first one here. You know, it starts out really good. The driver's got some pretty good distance coming on, and then he gets passed from the right, and the vehicle comes over and cuts him off, takes his space away. But what does this driver do? And if you watch, starts to recreate that space right away and stretch it back out. Owns that property in front of him.
The only thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to flash the driver. Don't create another difficult situation. The act was already done. You're not going to improve the situation. If you'll notice, the driver flashes the driver because he doesn't and flashes the four-wheeler. It is by no means an okay move, but this doesn't help the situation. Worst case scenario, this driver can brake check you and create even more problems. So don't add to the situation. Just react accordingly. I mean, and you know, and as you look at it, you can see the driver flashed him. I mean, you know, hey, I don't like what you did. I get it. I understand your frustrations as you're out there and you're trying to be safe. But this doesn't help the situation.
No. And again, you're right. I understand the frustrations because it's tough. I mean, you're doing everything out there right. You're trying to protect lives. You're trying to increase that space. And then you have somebody come over and do this. But you just got to stay away from the chaos and not let it get to you. And I know, it's hard times.
It is hard. It is hard to be that guy or that gal out there always doing the right thing, and it makes it very difficult. Oh, next video.
Next we got Still Green, Drivers Prepared.
You know, again, this is what we talk about, you know, the positive things about videos, because we see this every day. You know, this driver does the right thing. Maybe a harsh brake, but sometimes harsh brakes are good. And he protects that intersection. He protects the traffic behind him. We're doing the right thing. The camera shows that. The camera also shows that, hey, you know, a couple of these vehicles choose to, you know, go through that yellow light, which is not what it's for. It's to clear the intersection and instead of trying to make it through. So the driver does a great job here.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you do. I like this. You know, the driver did stop and stopped on the crosswalk, but did a good job of making sure not going into the intersection on a yellow light, which is a big deal. I mean, we want to celebrate these successes. At 34 miles an hour, able to stop quickly when needed to do so. And I'll tell you right now, fantastic move. Did come to a complete stop, and kudos to the driver for making a good decision here.
Yeah, helps keep the intersection a little bit safer.
Absolutely.
A little too close, back off and watch your speed.
You know, here's one, you know, we're just too close. I mean, you got to call it like it is. We got ourselves in a situation where we're less than a second following distance behind the person. Curious thing about this is it looks like speedometer is saying about 67, 68 miles an hour. We're in a 60-mile-an-hour speed zone. So we take ourselves out of that speed situation. We're not this close behind there. So, you know, there's a couple different ways to get out of it. Just back off of it. Hey, but also pay attention to what the speed limit is and obey that.
Yeah, you know, we're going to continue to show these close distances because we truly believe that this, and we're going to be showing these a lot. We're going to be showing these too close to the vehicle. We think that the best place for success is to back off and create this genuine needed for cushion. And I want everybody to understand we're going to show these as much as possible because we truly believe here at BCB Live that space between you and the vehicle in front is your success space. It is your success space, and you've got to create it, you've got to maintain it, and you've got to do everything to fight for it. And we understand you're going to get into these moments. We get it.
Yep.
It's going to happen. We understand. Let's be honest with ourselves and each other. You will find yourself close to the car in front of you. When you do, react accordingly. What we're seeing here is not a good reaction, and that's the only reason we're bringing it up. We're bringing it up because we maintain our closeness when we have every opportunity to back off.
Absolutely. You know, this weekend I had an opportunity to go down to College Station. I was pulling a trailer behind my pickup, and on the way back, you know, I'm looking at my following distance, and I counted myself out a couple times just to see how it is. So if you don't really trust this technology here, then use that old-fashioned method.
It works.
And count it out. It works.
Yeah, it absolutely works. You see, even if you go underneath the shadow under this bridge, you can count it out to see when you hit the shadow, and you just go 1,001. You're too close.
Yeah.
And that's how you can always maintain your vigilance. But we're going to continue to talk about this.
Yeah. And it doesn't make the driver unsafe. It just means that the driver may not realize what situation he's got himself into and what steps he needs to take and how quickly he needs to take those steps to get out of this situation.
Absolutely. All right, let's see the next video.
Next, we got not enough space, limiting outs.
And again, that's what we're talking about here. You know, we're just too close here, and you know that space in front of us needs to be our out because when we look around, there's not anything to the right of us. We have Jersey wall and limited shoulder off to the left, and so we really have to own that space between us, our success space between you and the vehicle ahead of us. Just have to increase that, get that to that 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, you know, right here you're at a little over a second. You know, at 2 seconds is way better.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you're not far from. You're at 1,000. You're not far from a fantastic. You know, I'll take 2 seconds over 1 second every day.
Yeah.
I'll take the double the distance every day. You know, I like the driver on the right here, the truck pulling the trailer. You know, doing what it has to be doing, and I believe it slows down a little bit when it sees the truck in front of it. I think a lot goes on here. I'm a little bit more space would be great in this environment. Yeah. But okay, let's see the next one.
Next, we got starts too close, recognizes that, then starts to improve.
You know, and I show that because right here, when you look at it, we start this video, we're way too close, but you can also see that that truck is starting to pull away. We're recognizing what the situation is, and we're, you know, letting up on the accelerator a little bit. We're starting to create that space, and that's what it's all about. We have to recognize and then take those steps.
It's hard. I mean,
I
mean, it's hard because you get into these moments, these situations, just like this one right here, and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm too close. All it takes is 1 mile an hour, 2 mile an hour to just start to genuinely open that up and create that level of success. And it doesn't take that long. And by the way, you're going to get there just as fast.
Yeah. And the other thing, you know, and I understand the frustration because, well, I want to pass, and so I'm trying to build a little speed, a little bit of momentum before I pull out there. But putting yourself in an unsafe situation by doing that, it's not a good choice.
Not at all. All right.
Our last video of the day is called No Man's Land. Slows down, tries to give space.
Yeah, I mean, the big truck in this one here, I mean, he's already going slow. It's not 2 lanes not 2 merged points. And so what does the driver do? Driver does what he can. He starts slowing down, recognizing he's got somebody passing him on the right, tries to slow down and give him as much space as he
that right there is just dangerous.
Yeah.
dangerous move, and the driver here does a fantastic job of getting out of the way and avoiding an accident altogether.
Yeah.
There's no doubt who's at fault here. There's no doubt, and we're not talking, and here we are talking about fault and preventability.
Yep. And again, it just goes to show how valuable, if something happens, how valuable that camera can be in this situation. It shows,
Absolutely.
It tells the story. It validates the story that the driver's telling.
And I'm just going to say a lot of these hot shotters don't understand the length of their trailer. Don't understand. There haven't been, honestly, they don't understand the length of their trailer. They don't understand what's at stake. They don't get it. And if they do, they don't care. And I'm not blaming all hot shotters because I've seen truck drivers do the same mistakes. But you've got a kudos to this driver. Whoever sent this in, thank you for sending this in. Great job to the driver. A good speed on the curve, and then you get this going on you, and the driver's forced to go into that area right there to avoid a collision because it was it was going to happen.
Yeah. There's not a lot of room going on there. You
get tangled up with that trailer, with that front steer tire, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. Doesn't end well.
It doesn't end well for anybody, not for the truck, not for the hot shotter, and not for anybody out there on that freeway either as that trailer pushes that truck out there.
That's it. And so, like I said, just showing those videos, like I said, we'll continue to show them in the following too close because, the best way of recognizing and start to understanding how close we are is by watching it, to seeing how close, what too close looks like, what 1 second looks like, what a half second looks like. So we'll continue to show those and share those, and we'll show the successes too, the ones that the drivers recognize it and start backing off.
Absolutely. All right, so there we are. We hope that you have a great day. We're going to go ahead and close with a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Father, we also ask that you help keep us courageous in our activity to do the right thing. Keep us mindful of what we do and keep us hopeful that we do the right thing every time. Father, help us to be safe, watch over us, protect us, and we ask all these things in your name, we pray. Amen. All right, everybody. Great, safe, wonderful day, and you are watching BCB Live,
the safest station in the nation.
See y'all tomorrow.